Our first one, Joe, brings the San Francisco 49ers to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Did you know this line opened up at a minus 3-point spread in the favor of the Los Angeles Rams? Injury upon injury to the San Francisco 49ers, Joe. We're now seeing a 5.5 at most outlets right now. The spread lines for San Francisco, heavy movement here, Joe.
And 5.5 is no man's land in sportsbook world there, Donnie. The books are kind of just giving you right there at that 5.5 because there's really no value one way or the other, mostly because they have no idea what we're going to get from the 49ers at this point. Is Purdy playing? Is he not playing? I think if Purdy plays, we'll probably see the line movement closer to the open, maybe 3.5. If he doesn't, I think that's what you're looking at, that 5.5. Maybe it'll go to 6, but the total is also interesting because it hasn't budged at all. Opened at 47, still seeing 47 on a short week with the Rams playing at home.
Look at that, eyeing back-to-back losses possibly for the San Francisco 49ers after a couple wins to start the season. You just have to get healthy. They're going in the opposite direction here. Spread line number 2, Joe. Let's go to the Charm City. Talking about some of the same things we just talked about in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Why? Houston is going to take on Baltimore. That look-ahead line, Joe, before that game was played on Sunday for both teams, was 9.5. Do you know where it sits this morning? Minus 3.5 as a favorite towards Baltimore. Oh, no. Did Baltimore lose their entire team in a blowout loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, Joe? What gives on this spread line between Houston and Baltimore?
Yeah, and the hook is available still. 3.5s in a lot of spots. I don't know how long that's going to last. But again, I mean, give Harbaugh and the Ravens credit. They were so non-committal about anything with Lamar. And who knows exactly what you're going to get there. But I am more concerned with the other injuries there. Roquan Smith on the defensive side of the ball, Humphrey in the secondary. You know, they need to get a little healthier. Forget about Lamar because, quite honestly, the first 1 to 10 points is going to win this game because Houston's offense is trash. However, they're going to need to get healthier on the defense. I still see this thing going off a little bit higher, Donnie, than where it is right now, but it's a wait-and-see game to figure out who's going to be under center here for Baltimore.
You fold the week last week and say, okay, the NFL is done, right? We had a Thursday night game. We had the Sunday slate. We had a doubleheader on Monday night. Oh, we got a long way to take a look at. Not so fast. In the NFL, the time moves quickly. Before you know, it'll be Thursday and another week begins. And we have to look at some of these early lines to get the people ready for what the anticipation is for the markets that are going to take place on Sunday. And they're going to move a lot during the week. They already have been doing that. But there are some hot topics out here. Ben Johnson is an interesting character, Joe Ranieri. We've seen him in Detroit. You know what? Maybe he's not a guy that's going to lead a football team. Just happy to be the offensive coordinator. Steps out in the limelight there for the Chicago Bears. He's an offensive guru. But he didn't like when his guru-ness was being contacted here. Why? Because Aditi King Kabwala asked him a question that he didn't really like all that much. He tried to clear it up.
And, you know, if you care to address this, I know there's been some buzz about your halftime exchange. Can you relay how you interpreted that conversation?
Yeah, you know, in the moment, I honestly, I didn't think too much of it. I'm kind of in game mode. But then when I look back at it, you know, I am a little bit disappointed with what that looks like. You know, I didn't hear very well, and that's not an excuse. But when I thought I heard that not a question, but that I needed to make some changes, I didn't take that very well. So I'll do a better job with those going forward.
Yeah, I love it. That is fantastic because, you know, as a coach, like he's already like running hot on the sidelines. Things aren't going your way. And the mic in your face, like what I heard was, you better change your offense out there. It's in the heat of the moment. Those interviews don't need to take place, Joe, but they do. And sometimes they can give you that type of gold.
Yes, and again, there's something to be said for we're moving on to Cincinnati. There is the less you say, maybe sometimes the better here. But listen, first time head coach, young guy, spotlights on him. I'm willing to give him a pass, but that won't be the last time. There are going to be an awful lot of comments and questions about his offense with Caleb Williams under center.
like we're not slighting the reporters in any mention, but it's like if Bill
Yeah.
Belichick like grabs you by the hand and is like, hey, you better change your offense in the second half. Ben Johnson goes, maybe I should. But a female, male, whoever report on the sidelines like, hey, by the way, I think your offense stinks out here. You're probably gonna get pissed off if that's what you think you heard at that point. But Ben Johnson tried to clear it up. We all know many people would have said what he said exactly. Like, I'm getting beat right now, and you're telling me I need to change my offense right now at this point. Good stuff as it handles, but we like truth and honesty. We do. Ben Johnson was just being honest at this point. How about Cam Ward? He's used to winning football games. They're 0-4. Here's what Cam Ward had to say after being 0-4 right after the game.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have, at this point, we got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in. Especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet. And that's just something that, we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better. And we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet. But
Firing general managers, hiring coaches here, drafting number 1 picks. Love it. Absolutely. You look at the Jets and say, well, at least like you actually have some fun a little bit if you watch the Jets. Like, okay, they're moving the football. The Titans are brutal, and they're brutal on the eyes. Like, all you want, Joe, right? As you said, our defense stinks, but Cam Ward looks like he's going to be a good quarterback. Not a single facet of football looks good for the Titans, and that's a problem.
Remember a couple seasons ago when the owner, remember how she couldn't wait to push
Amy
Vrabel
Adams.
out the door? Yeah. Couldn't wait to push him out the door here because because they didn't like his attitude very much because he had a lot to say about like guys like Will Levis who he wanted nothing to do with. And then you pushed him out and now he's lighting teams up over there in New England. Shocker. And you're stuck with a guy that can't seem to call plays. He relinquished those duties. He's going to get your young franchise quarterback absolutely killed before it's all said and done. So, yeah, things are going swell in Tennessee. But like usually, Donnie, these billionaire owners, the chance of them actually taking responsibility, like, oh, we might have made a mistake, probably slim to none here.
You're absolutely right about that. Can you imagine the story of the NFL where it's like, let's just take a look at the PGA Tour, right? Hey, you have 60 golfers in a tournament. If you perform poorly and don't make the cut, you don't get paid. Can you imagine an NFL landscape, Joe? We have 32 football teams, and you say, okay, the top 16 football teams that have the best record, they get all of the TV money. The bottom 16, they get no money whatsoever. How would you take a look at a difference in this organization where you can fumble around and be horrendous at your job? Case in point, Daniel Snyder ruined the Commanders/Redskins franchise for so many years and still said, hey, I bought it for $1 billion, sold it for $6.5 billion. There is no financial penalty for being inept as an owner in the NFL, and that's never going to change. It's just the way it is. Now, we talk about money in the NFL, Joe. There's a lot of money being made overseas where you play football games there. Ooh, we're sending them a stinker this weekend, 9:30 a.m., Cleveland and Minnesota. Wentz still staying over there. Hey, look, second time is a charm at this point. We lost the first game. Let's stay over here and win the second game. Cleveland, Minnesota, snooze fest on Sunday morning.
Look at what's going on here with this total. What do you think they're telling you here at 36.5? By the way, this opened up 37.5, and now we are all the way down to 36.5. Why? Because both of these two offenses are, oh boy, not good to say the least. And a lot of that has to do with the injuries on the Minnesota side, though. Who are we kidding? You lost a couple of more starting offensive linemen in Minnesota. They have no running game. They lost Aaron Jones to the IL. Carson Wentz is the backup. He's running for his life the entire time. But both defenses are top 5, top 7 defenses. So my question is, Donnie, are you going to continue to roll out, weekend at Bernie's there and Joe Flacco, or are you actually going to play for the future? Like, I don't know what the Browns are doing, but I want to know who that quarterback is going to be for the Browns before I would bet this game.
That was the question I was going to ask, is the follow-up, because like Joe Flacco's listed as the starter. You're already hearing the mumbles behind the scenes that we're going to go to Dylan Gabriel. Why not now? Like, it's Minnesota. It's Carson Wentz. Like, you have a great defense on Cleveland that could probably hold Minnesota down. Let the young kids spin it here in a neutral site environment. You're not going to have a heavy crowd presence. Like, oh, we don't want to start him in Philadelphia. That could be damaging for the kid. Just start him this weekend. Put it this way, Joe. It can't be any worse. And that's all I'm saying at this point here. Other games across the landscape, Joe, we'll get to the Thursday night game, San Francisco and Los Angeles. Look ahead lines, -3. Current day lines, -5.5. Why? We don't know who San Francisco's even have a quarterback, let alone wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, defense at this point. The Rams, after an impressive comeback victory over the Colts, they're home again on a Thursday night. What gives in that one for you, Joe?
Well, injuries, like anything else with the 49ers. I mean, listen, short week, we're always going to side towards the home team anyway here, but I can make the argument, Donnie, Rams should have lost that game last on Sunday there. They were very much, that game was up for grabs, and Indy could have won it. We'd be having a different conversation about them right now. But there's just far too many unknowns, and the book is telling you that, Donnie. Pricing it at 5.5. The books are like, don't know where they're going to wait too, because if Purdy's going, this will probably drop back down. If he's not, I still don't think this gets to a touchdown, but it's probably going to be 5.5, 6 all week long.
How about this one? Denver and Philadelphia, Joe. Get a quick preview on this one. Open up at 4.5, still sitting at 4.5 across the board. Low total there. 42.5. It actually bet up now to 44.5 at some outlets here. Denver and Philadelphia in a big tussle at 1 o'clock this week in Philly.
Well, like we said, it's one thing to look really efficient and really good offensively against Cincinnati, Denver. But let's see, your former head coach is the DC now in Philadelphia. Let's see what this offense looks like here this week against this defense. I think we'll learn a little bit about how good this Broncos team can be.
I'll tell you, excited for the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Dart versus Rattler. You got some games this weekend, and I'm just being kind at that point.